Good question. The best thing that you can do is confront your fear of vulnerability head on. You have to address it. It means you have to go backwards to figure out where you felt unsafe and how that manifests in your current dating life. And then you need to decenter men. And so here's the thing. People think decentering men means that you hate men. And if you are a, heterosexual woman, it's completely healthy for you to seek out a relationship with a man. That is a completely healthy, normal thing. You don't need to hate men. You just need to not have them at the center of your existence, to where all of your decisions are factored around getting and or keeping a man, especially if you are a young Black woman. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but we were raised by a generation of women that had literally had it beat into their brains that having a piece of man is better than having no man at all. Like, go back and listen to music from the 70s and the 80s, and every other song is like, he cheats on me, but it's okay because he's here sometimes. Like, no, that's not acceptable. Like, all of your decisions need to be rooted in keeping yourself happy and healthy and respected, and you having respect for yourself. That's it. It can't be centered around, oh, even you, down to you getting dressed. Are you getting dressed so that men will look at you? Or are you getting dressed because you like this, you feel comfortable? And even the opposite, like, are you wearing baggy clothes because you want men to think that you're not the type of girl who dress? Like, you can't focus your entire identity and thoughts around like what men want. You can't do that. So decentering men, not the same thing as hating men. Please don't think that you need to move into a space of I hate men, da 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 da. But however, the women that I know who are in happy, healthy relationships, I won't say that they hate men, but like low-key, they hate everybody but their man. Like, they have to be decentered, or else you will allow things solely for the feeling of like keeping one around, even if they're not aligned with your value structure. So the next thing would be like create a value structure of what you want in a man, and it can't be something super surface level. You have to think about what you want for your life. If you're somebody who's like dating just to like, hey, I just want to get a feel for like who I am and like what I'm attracted to, that's very different. But if you're someone who's like dating for a long-term relationship or a partnership or a marriage, then you have to be intentional. I know that sometimes we hear about people who are like, oh my God, we dated for a week and we've been married for 40 years. That is not the rule. These people are an exception, and chances are, I firmly feel like those people kind of had a pretty clear idea of like what they wanted in a partner, so that when they met someone who fit that, they were like, let's ride. But you have to get to know people. And how you do that is you don't start out by like telling men like, what are you looking for? Oh, I'm looking for someone who's this, I'm looking for somebody who's that. Because they can lie, okay? And they can take what you've told them and they can pretend that they are all those things. And then that's usually what happens when the mask falls off, because you can only maintain that for so long. It's your job to have observations. You have to pay attention to if the proof is in the pudding, if the words match the actions. If he's like, oh yeah, I'm responsible, da 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 da, and then you like, he's talking about, something getting cut off or not being able to pay his bill. That's not a responsible person. Like, there has to be proof in the pudding in order for you to like go with it. So decenter men, develop a value structure, and then don't fall into the self-love trap. The self-love trap is something that influencers have, I kind of feel like pushed a lot of people into believing. And it's that self-love is like going to get your nails done, or self-love is, getting a facial. And it's actually so much more than that. It's developing boundaries and standards for yourself, and being able to own enough of yourself that when something goes against your boundaries or your standards, you walk away. You say no to that. You should never be in a situation where you're like fiending for a man to text you back, and it's like, hours, and not saying that someone needs to text you back, immediately, but like, if you're one of those people who stops existing until a man texts you, and then it feels like there's like life within you again, you're too far gone. You need to take a couple steps back. Like, you're too far gone already. Like, you need to reel it back and create a life that is nourishing you, so that you have the ability to say no to things, and you're not just sitting around waiting for someone to deem you worthy. That's what I see happen a lot. You're like waiting for someone to deem you worthy of being loved or being valued. If a man blows you off, doesn't text you back for a couple days, and then is like, oh, hey, what's up? And you're immediately like, oh, hey, available to him. Like, no. No, and you don't need to play games. You just need to fill your life with things that nourish you, to where if that man did randomly text you, you're like, actually, I have a dance class. I can't. I have something that is nourishing me, to where I'm not sitting around waiting for you to choose me. And someone who like genuinely is interested in you, I feel like a lot of women just don't know if someone's genuinely interested in them. They wouldn't make you feel that way. And I feel like that's so hard for a lot of people to like really truly grasp. That anxious feeling that you get of like, does this person like me? You're already too far gone. The question should be, do I like this person? And then if it is, I like this person, what do I like about them? Do I like their consistency? Do I like their responsibility? Do I like how they treat other people? Do I like their willingness to try new things? Do I like their openness? Do I like these things? It shouldn't be, do they like me? Do they like me? Do they like me? Do you like you? Do you like you, sis? Do you like the person that you are? Do you like the way that you move through the world? Do you like the way that you treat people? Are you able to maintain friendships? Do you like you? That's what matters. Because then if you meet somebody, you want them to like you for you, not for the person that you're pretending to be, to try and get them to like you, to get them to see your value. You're never going to be able to get someone to see your value. That's not going to happen. So you have to decenter this idea that like, oh, I need to put on this role. I always see girls do this thing like, oh, I caught myself cooking and then remembered that like those are wifey duties. It's like, do you like cooking? Do you like cooking? If you like cooking, cook. If you don't like cooking, don't pretend that you like cooking to secure the bag, because then you're going to have to maintain that. And it's like, don't do that. If you don't like cooking, then you should get a man who's okay with you not cooking, or a man who likes to cook, or a man who's like, you know, F it, let's get a cook so that we don't have to do this. Like, you don't need to pretend to be someone else. Someone could like and love you for you, but you have to know who you are, and you have to know what you actually want. So you have to confront the things that you're very afraid of. Oh, I'm afraid that I'm unlovable. Well, why? And like, where did that come from? And like, how do you remove that so that you know that when you are lovable, and you're not trying to change yourself to fit into this weird mold to secure someone, because that's manipulation. So ultimately, stop manipulating. Stop trying to manipulate the world around you. Stop trying to present yourself to be something else. Stop trying to do these things so that you can attract people who appreciate and love and value you for who you are, and are willing to like meet you where you are. That feels so much better than you pretending to be someone else, or you ignoring certain things. Like, if you tell someone, hey, this bothered me, and they blow you off, you have to internalize that. Like, you can't live your life like that. So identify your values, decenter men, and don't fall into the self-love trap. Self-love is being able to show up for yourself, and being able to know when a situation is not making you feel good. This isn't fun for me. I don't want to do this. And having the courage and strength to get up and walk away, because it's not the end of the world. And there are so many people in the world. There's so many people in the world.